Hi there everyone, Lars here with another anime review for The Dangers in My Heart. This one for episode 11, brought to you by Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And as we are coming towards the end of the season, it's good to know that there is an announcement for season 2. Because we are far from over with the adventures between Ichikawa and Yamada. And in this particular episode, this is an episode that really pumped the brakes, took it slow, let us bask in the awkward fun between these two characters, but also dished up a really interesting bit of payoff for some very light foreshadowing, some really nice hints, as well as a culmination of the dating games that have been played by various characters up until this point. So I'm going to do just a quick rundown of the events within this episode, but I really want to focus on what I think to be very brave and intelligent writing for what happens with the teenagers towards the end of the episode. So, the characters are now in their wonderful winter break, which is ridiculously short by Western school standards. Man, I love me a good long Christmas break. Well, they've enjoyed Christmas, it's now New Year's, and Ichikawa has gone off with his family up to Kyoto to enjoy time with his grandparents, enjoy the snow and everything, and it is beautiful out in this frozen countryside. I would love to go there. I may be a desert rat, but I love the rain, I love the snow. And while he's out there, Yamada wants to get some pictures. She wants to experience this with him, even though she's way on the other side of the country. And so Ichikawa is trying to get the perfect picture, and he slips, falls down a hill, and fractures his arm. Ouch. And while he is recovering, we have more interesting interactions between him and Yamada through the phone. I love that Ichikawa was caught by his sister, who she's great. Like, Ichikawa has kind of a low opinion of his sister and how she will tease him, and which she does, but she is mature enough to realize, my brother's having a conversation with a cute girl late at night. I'm not going to interrupt. That's a good big sister right there. The teasing comes later. And so we get more interactions between Ichikawa and Yamada, where Ichikawa just really comes to realize even more so, I like this girl. Yamada definitely, we know that she's sold on this guy, but Ichikawa still cannot believe that there's any sort of world where an angsty, horrible boy like himself, someone who has stylized himself, who has completely swallowed and assimilated this weird image of himself as this horrible, edgy person who is just consumed with darkness and murder, that he could ever have a chance with a cute, nice girl like Yamada. That is a real problem for a lot of people. Their own self-perception is what prevents them from moving ahead in their life or from enjoying positive relationships with other people. So sticking to that theme, this is really important. This is, again, why the series is called The Dangers in My Heart, how Ichikawa has to confront his feelings and overcome a false perception of himself to become the person he needs to be in order to be in a relationship with Yamada. That is what we're seeing slowly unfold here within this episode, him coming to this realization. And yes, it's punctuated by a lot of really fun moments between the two of them, not just their phone calls, but also Ichikawa getting a little Shiba Inu tag pendant that Yamada can have, that she can wear, that she can use, and going and meeting up with her. She's gone to try to meet up with him. It's a miracle that they cross each other on the street. They go to a park and enjoy their time together, and Yamada is just letting it all hang out right there. She's taking full advantage of the break to wear different clothes, to be like, yes, are you noticing me, Ichikawa? Which, oh boy, he does, but again, his perception is preventing him from taking full advantage of the opportunity presented to him. Now, that's basically what we get right here. Just more fun fluff, good character development, slow relationship progress, but progress nonetheless. The big thing comes, though, at the end, during New Year's. When Yamada's with her friends at a party, Ichikawa's just going to get a snack before, zipping on away before anyone catches him, and lo and behold, he is caught by Pushy Senpai, the guy who's been trying to get in with Yamada all this time. The girl who likes him is there with him, as well as Moe, as he begins grilling Ichikawa for Yamada's number. And what I find hilarious is that he doesn't even really bother to get to know Ichikawa. Ichikawa messes up his name and says Ichihara, and he's like, oh yeah, Ichihara, yeah, you. And there's no bothering from anyone to correct this. The two girls know who Ichikawa is. Senpai, he doesn't know. He doesn't care. He is so laser focused on Yamada that it's really creepy at this point. Now, this is where the writing gets bold and where I think it's really good. You see, the thing is that this character is taking full advantage of the social situation within middle school and high school as far as things can play out in Japan. And also, to be fair, over here in the West as well. If you're good looking enough, if you're popular enough, it's amazing what you can get away with. I have known people both as a teenager and as a teacher watching all these things play out that the cute or hot popular kids really have to go out of their way to screw themselves over before they have a fall from grace or someone within their friend circle decides to destroy them for whatever reason. In this particular situation, Pushy Senpai has everything going for him. He's got the looks, he's got the popularity, he has the prestige, and he is going to use all of that to try to put Ichikawa into a position where Ichikawa will give him Yamada's contact information and have an alibi for getting out of it. That he's going to be like, hey, I just saw it right here. You don't have to say anything to Yamada. You're just going to give me her line contact information. I'll just simply say, oh, I saw it when I was hanging out with your friend Ichihara. And you can just be like, oh yeah, we bumped into each other. You tried contacting me. I guess he saw something. And then boom, we're all good. We're all good. I get what I want. You continue to have your friendship with Yamada, whatever that be. Just know I'm the one who's coming on to her. I'm the guy who's going to get her. And Ichikawa mans on up. The first time that he's really done this to another guy face to face, and not even with something like with the other students in his class where he tries to use various kinds of social engineering to try to reverse various situations or divert attention away from Yamada or whatever. In this case, he can't do any of that because he is socially weaker than Pushy Senpai. So the only way to really stand up to Pushy Senpai is to actually have a backbone and say, no, I'm not going to give you her contact information, and I'm not even going to tell you why I'm not going to give her your contact information. I'm just not going to do it. That is a bold move from Ichikawa. It's something that goes completely against certain societal norms within the context of the story and of the society in which it is set, as well as, if we think about it here in the West, if someone would be like, hey, can you give me someone else's contact number? And he said, no, you come off as the jerk. You absolutely do. Even if you know that this person's a bit of a push and a creep, you will still come off as the jerk to other people watching this. Girls are watching this and everything, and I love how Moe comes on in. She comes in clutch and is like, well, it's time for me to go, and I'm going to take my friend with me to take me on home, and removes Ichikawa from a position of weakness because Pushy Senpai intends to grill Ichikawa even further to get that number. This is finally where things start coming together. Moe has been very cognizant of the things happening in the classroom. She's very interested in dating, and she's been reading Ichikawa and Yamada like a book, like an open book. And she is in support of it, which would be shocking to us as the audience and shocking as well to Ichikawa. Reason why he doesn't believe her, as she's actually setting up yet again an opportunity for him on New Year's Eve to spend time with the girl that he likes. He doesn't take it, and Moe's like, fine, I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to pull any kind of weird strings right here. She's playing her own little game right here. And that's where what I talked about in an earlier review about the dating games that teens play. All of this is coming together. When the games don't play out the way that someone likes, especially for someone like Pushy Senpai, they buckle down and use all of their resources, all of their force of personality to then make things happen. And if he were then to try to get together with Yamada, it would absolutely be a bad relationship. It would be a forced one. It would become a toxic one, and it would all fall apart. Moe, who is a good friend, for Yamada, and as someone who's also playing the dating game right here, and not even that she's really all that interested in Pushy Senpai, and I think because she realizes this guy's a creep, instead she's like, well, for my own prospects, especially because if Yamada is dating Ichikawa right here, that opens up a whole lot more guys for me to have a shot at, because they won't be able to go for her. I'm going to let this happen. It's funny, it's cute, and I also realize that they both like each other, so who am I to get in the way of that? I'll just make sure that obstacles between them are eliminated, and then it's for the two of them to figure out. That is a very interesting move on Moe's part. It's a very mature move. It's a very powerful move as well. And this is, again, all part of the little dating games that are going on right here. By Moe interceding that way, she has actually removed a major obstacle for Ichikawa and Yamada, and has opened up the path for the two of them to explore their budding romance together without Pushy Senpai constantly getting in the way. While even though Yamada is not interested in him, his persistence could cause problems. It could spread rumors like some of the girls were trying to do earlier, which could all destroy Yamada. Ichikawa, as a kind of social pariah to a lot of the kids in his school, wouldn't be so affected, but Yamada can be, and that could lead to all different kinds of problems. So what Moe does here at the end of this episode, that is the VIP move of this episode. Moe is the secret hero of the series thus far. The real wing woman who is rooting for both Yamada and for Ichikawa. She might be doing it for her own reasons, but it ultimately leads us to someplace good. And now that the door is open, now that one of the major obstacles has been for the most part removed, this is where things can really change. This is where we go from the more awkward rom-com scenario of opposites attracting to each other. Now that Ichikawa is indeed Yamada's friend, and now he's like, oh, I'm stuck in the friend zone, the story can now transition properly as we get ready for the second season for a completely different kind of rom-com story to be told. It's with the same characters, it's still the same plot, but we can now graduate. We can feel that progress now playing out, and the story will continue to be fluffy and good, but in a whole new way that keeps things fresh and engaging. And this is what leads me to, I think, some of the best writing advice that anyone can think of, especially for writing much more long-term stories. You need to have progression. You need to have mile markers that show very concretely where characters are later on down the road. If it feels like it takes forever for a character to grow as an individual, the story gets boring. If you're writing romance, if the romance is not developing in any kind of way, it gets boring. I don't care how much fluffiness goes on into it. You can only eat so much cotton candy before you get sick of it. Instead, what we have here with The Dangers in My Heart, while there is a lot of cotton candy being thrown at you, there's also a lot of very hearty, good, delicious food. Proverbially speaking right here, of getting to see Ichikawa go from the outsider who falls in love with Yamada, has to come to grips with this realization, and slowly becomes her friend as Yamada herself shows great maturity and growth by coming to grapple with who Ichikawa is and showing immense patience. And while, yes, this is a slowly developing story, you can see from episode to episode how the relationship is becoming stronger and how especially a character like Ichikawa is growing and maturing. You want to have those mile markers. If you don't have them, your story gets lost and people get bored with what they are reading or watching. So that's the best writing advice that I can pluck out of this episode, especially when we see just how far someone like Ichikawa has come. Now, with all that being said, I'm looking forward to the finale for this season of The Dangers in My Heart. If you'd like to see any more of our anime reviews, please check them on out. We've got an entire playlist for that. If there's any other animes that you might want us to check out, please let us know, and we'll try to make that happen and see if there's any videos that we can make off of that. And if you're a novice author looking for more writing advice, please check out our podcast, Camille's Harem, as well as plenty of other resources that we've got down in the description below. If you'd like to join our ever-growing community of novice authors, please like and subscribe. Also, if you would especially like to support us, check out the books that we've published. Links for them are also in the description. Otherwise, thank you for joining us on this adventure that we call writing, and until the next episode, y'all, tschüss.